and let us all do we can to build a better future. Hooray. It's been a while since I watched TYT. I know Cenk is running for president. But okay, hey, everyone has a goal, right? So go for it. Go for it, man. All right, just go for it. But there was a debate where Cenk, Ben Gleib, and Mark Thompson discussed the crisis happening in Gaza. And the humanitarian pause leads to a heated debate between the hosts of TYT. So let's go ahead and pull it up. But I will say this. This Ben guy, he's also a comedian. He does a lot of other stuff here. I miss the other comedian that used to be on TYT. I bet old Cenky kind of wishes things were a little different. Just a little different. So let's go ahead and play this. I fast forward just a little bit just to get to the more spicier parts so we can listen to it. Plus, I have 2 bonus videos to highlight why there's such a horrific crisis happening in Gaza. From a Freudian slip to even an island, an artificial island being built off the coast of Gaza. Oh, you think I'm joking? You think I'm joking here? First, let's play this video.
Hey, I'm just gonna bomb. Like, the reason why I say not one more bomb is because bombing doesn't work. And bombing Iraq created ISIS. It didn't end ISIS, it created ISIS. Yeah. So the more we bomb the Palestinians, the bigger Hamas is gonna get. In this day and age, the Viet Cong didn't raise their hand and say we give up. Neither did none of these groups say we give up. And Hamas is never, ever going to say we give up. So if that's the standard, that means we're just gonna keep butchering Palestinian civilians.
But by that exact standard, you're acting as though the bombing was just purely, as you seem to think it is, for revenge or retribution. They were bombing these buildings, and while again, I'll say it every time.
Hospitals, places of worship, not just only mosques, but churches too. Community centers, refugee centers, residential homes, businesses. I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the videos on the Twitter and on the Instagrams, but Gaza's been leveled to the ground, the likes of which we've never seen before.
Time the innocent loss of life has been horrific. It was not for no reason, and it was not indiscriminately. It was to get rid of strongholds, buildings that they knew had Hamas strongholds in them, so that when they go in with the ground troops that you yourself were suggesting were a better idea and are a better idea, that they aren't a complete suicide mission for the Israeli troops. Also, in the immediate aftermath of October 7th, you said, of course, Israel has to respond and is going to bomb. It just, you hope that it's not a hugely disproportional number. You said, I hope it's not 10 to 1, 100 to 1. The numbers have been horrible. They've been 5 to 1 or 6 to 1. That's not good, but it's because we're trying to take out a terrorist force that also is a government. And so I do not buy the argument that there is ever gonna be a solution where you just say Hamas gets to win. And so I think a much smarter way to approach trying to get what you want.
They don't get to win, Ben. They don't get to win. So look, at the end of the day,
now it's still somewhat civil before the yelling happens. When the yelling happens, grab the popcorn, my lovelies.
2 last things, and then you got more of the story.
But a smarter part, what I'm saying, a way to do that is to not demonize people that are responding from this horrible terror attack, but instead say, great, thank you for a 4-hour every single day during war humanitarian pause and an extra humanitarian corridor. Actually turn the rhetoric towards something that is more inclusive and more positive and say we are moving towards the right direction, not immediately on day 1 saying that's not real. Maybe it's a tiny bit real, but it's not real. No, it's a major significant change in the conditions on the ground. It's Israel going against what it believes its objectives need to be, to listen to the world community, to give opportunities for aid to come in. That's the big source of outcry from all of the groups saying civilians are being killed. So let the civilians out. So they're doing that. Extra humanitarian corridor.
They're not letting anybody out. Gaza's a prison. You can't leave
because
Gaza.
Egypt will not open their border.
That's ridiculous. If Egypt opens the borders and the Palestinians go to Egypt, Israel's going to close the border and just take Gaza. No way. That's crazy. No way.
It's entirely up to Egypt to keep that border open or not. But certainly they're not going to open the border into their own country.
No, Israel and Egypt have an alliance, and that's why. Ben, look, so we have massive disagreements. So when at one point they had about 8,000 civilians killed and 13 Hamas members killed. No, they weren't trying to bomb Hamas. They were doing indiscriminate bombings.
13 Hamas members killed. Where are you getting that number?
I got it from a news report. We reported on it.
Hamas does not distinguish in their numbers between Hamas soldiers and civilians. You have no idea how many.
You know, somebody brought up a very good question here. I just want to pull this up here. Let's see. Shout out to Indie Left. But also, Buds Osmoka says, how is Ben still on TYT? That's because remember, they got that Katzenberg cash a long time ago. They got that Katzenberg cash, and I bet Cenk has that seller's remorse.
Hamas soldiers were killed in that 10,000.
Netanyahu at one point, and he's a grotesque liar, said in an ABC report, well, 10,000 were killed, but 1,000 of those could have been Hamas. Could have been. And if that's true, but you take Netanyahu's numbers, that's still awful. If you said to me, I've said this 100 times, hey, that guy killed your family members. There's no way that I don't want to kill that guy. I will be filled with rage. And you say there's 9 civilians around him, an aunt, an uncle, a grandma, a baby, etc. Would I bomb them and kill those 9 civilians to get the bad guy? Never. Because it is deeply immoral. I'm not going to do the same thing a terrorist would do. That's insanity. And Israel's saying, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about the ratio. I dropped the bombs. The buildings collapsed. The babies' heads are crushed.
But they
are defense.
That is a lie.
That's not defense. That's offense.
But they are not saying that. They are taking far more measures than any country that I know of to make sure the civilians leave the area.
They take the least amount of measures.
They make phone calls directly. They drop beacons out of the sky. They make multiple statements on social media and on television. They paused. They said 24 hours to escape.
Yes, wow, how generous. Hey, you got 24 hours to escape. Sometimes people don't have that luxury to do that, right? Let's not forget, sometimes those messages get lost in the mail. No pun intended, but it gets lost. Like, oops, oh, we forgot to send it. Oh, we did send it. Oopsie daisy.
Said it's impossible.
Escape to what? Escape to what? It's an open-air prison.
To the south.
And then Egypt
which
can
they
also
border
bombed.
if they like. They bombed it a little bit to get rid of Hamas targets. It's not the main area that the main bombing is happening. And so that is the reality of war. You're still not ever suggesting concretely how you suggest that Israel lives in peace and possibly
can I answer, please?
Sure.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Okay, special forces to take out the Hamas guys who attacked. No problem, I've said it from day one.
You gotta love Armchair General Cenk. You make one hell of a prez, buddy.
Try to release the hostages, do negotiation, do power, do all the things that you do. Then, this is super important. End the goddamn occupation.
There isn't an occupation in Gaza. I'll say it to the day I'm done.
Don't be insane,
Ben.
There
is a security and blockade of supplies. There is not an occupation. They voluntarily ended it in 2005 and removed forcibly their own Israeli citizens.
Hey.
How are you going to ask people to end an occupation that ended in 2005? And at least let's use words accurately, because I've seen too many times on this network people saying genocide when it is not one.
No, that Katzenberg liberal cash right there. Ben's a comedian, by the way. I miss the other comedian. First name starts as a J, last name ends as the D, all the way from the city of Chicago. Oh, Janky. I remember TYT a long time ago. How is this still flying? I mean, I get, hey, we all have opinions. I get it, but looks like this Benny guy is definitely trying hard, very hard, to get that Hollywood grace,
People saying occupation when it is not one. There is an occupation in the West Bank. I admit it because that's the definition and the words. But when the occupation ends, you say end the occupation. What are you asking for them to end it again? Should they go back in and then end it again? Is that the request?
Ben, okay, if I come to your house and say, look, I'm not occupying your house, but I can cut the water and power anytime, and I could starve you, and I could make sure you don't even get any water. And if you disagree with me on anything, I could drop a bomb on your head.
I'm not occupying. It's called a blockade.
I'm not occupying.
It's called a blockade.
I can just murder you anytime I like, but I'm not occupying.
But it's not the word.
Okay,
it's called
so
a blockade.
Let's call it a prison. So Israel should stop imprisoning Palestinians in Gaza.
And you know the big difference, though, is that when you have prisons, the people that run the prisons don't offer freedom to all of the people 6 different times, and they reject it when they get 85 to 97% of their requests.
Now let's talk about it. We're going to stop here for a minute. We're going to stop here for a minute and change things up here. Shout out to Case Study QB. Israel's foreign minister, Israel Katz, proposed building an artificial island off the coast of Gaza. What? Say what?
But Israel's foreign minister, Israel Katz, had other plans at the meeting. Even with a brutal war unfolding for almost 4 months, Israel on trial for genocide at the ICJ, 25,000 Palestinians killed, homes and hospitals being turned to dust. He came to the meeting with no plans for a ceasefire, no plans for getting hostages released, and definitely no plans for a Palestinian state. Instead, the New York Times reports that Israel's foreign minister walked into the meeting and presented a plan to build an artificial island off the coast of Gaza. It is a plan so ridiculously off-piste that it's already been shut down and dismissed since he first started floating the idea more than 5 years ago.
An island. A nice little resort island. So you know like how there's a hill in which people from Israel can watch the bombings and the shellings and the artillery strikes and the tank shellings happen? Hey, why sit on a hill when you have a nice little resort island and get a front row seat as people are running for their lives?
Just before we move on to this proposed new peace plan, can I get your reaction to the meeting that the Israeli foreign minister had with the Europeans? Apparently an artificial island is the best of what Israeli foreign policy and diplomacy has to offer right now.
Good morning, Dan. It's good to be with you. Yeah, it was interesting because you can imagine just how bewildered at least some of the European foreign ministers who were in the room felt when they thought they were about to have a serious discussion about how to move forward, how to move toward a cessation of hostilities, how to get hostages home safely. And instead, this is what they were met with. As you said, this is not a new plan. It is actually a plan that this minister in particular is known to be, and I quote, obsessed with. And
why is it that every single billionaire either wants to build like a secret island or like an underground water society or somewhere hidden? Look, listen. I played BioShock, right? BioShock 1 and 2. If you know what I'm referencing, Rapture, right? It doesn't end well for those people at the bottom of the ocean, okay? It just doesn't end well. Trust me on it. It's terrible.
Brings it up at every chance he has. But it did leave a bit of a bitter taste, at least in the mouths of some of the European foreign ministers who were expecting a slightly different kind of conversation.
That's exactly right, Reem. And it does seem as if the European lawmakers here were left really bewildered, in fact, by the situation that the Israeli foreign minister put forward. I would, of course, love to speak with him. So if he's watching, please do call me. It'd be great to sit down for an interview to talk about some of those plans.
Now, before you go back to TYT, just remember, sometimes it's very interesting to see the Freudian slip. Do not use other genocides to describe this one. It's very interesting. Shout out to Hotspot that caught this.
Listen to facts and focus on healing Burlington. And I would like to use the rest of my time to say how appalled I am that people are bringing up the Holocaust. Do not use other genocides to describe this one.
What? Hold on there, young lady. Do not use other genocides to describe this one? You mean this genocide that's happening right now? What? Hold on. Hey. First time on the stage. She probably got a little bit afraid, but you know, hey, sometimes you had that Freudian slip right there. The guy kind of looks back and says, "What did you say?"
Appalled I am that people are bringing up the Holocaust. Do not use other genocides to describe this one. I have been.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Hold on. We'll watch it again just one more time.
Are bringing up the Holocaust. Do not use other genocides to describe this one. I have been.
We're not gonna tolerate that.
This one that I.
What do you mean you're not gonna tolerate that? No, she said that. One more time, and then we continue on. I'm sorry.
Appalled I am that people are bringing up the Holocaust. Do not use other genocides to describe this one. I have been.
We're not gonna tolerate that.
This one that I personally do not see.
Whoa!
It is a horrible, horrible, horrible situation, and I cry for my Palestinian sisters and brothers. But I want to say I have been to Poland. I have visited concentration camps. And do not say that is what litters Gaza and the West Bank. I have been in the West Bank and I have seen the Arab villages there. Do not tell me what is there. I have seen it with my own eyes. Thank you.
One more time for the people. Just one more time. Oh no, don't be thinking on me right now, computer. Don't do that. Don't think on me right now. Please don't.
Focus on healing Burlington. And I would like to use the rest of my time to say how appalled I am that people are bringing up the Holocaust. Do not use other genocides to describe this one. I have been...
Oof. 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 Oof.
I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun here. So let's return back to the cringe fest.
I've seen you shake off in interviews your head about saying they've been offered peace. You go like this. You go, no, no, no. But they have been offered peace many times. So shouldn't they accept that? What is your plan? Why aren't you telling Hamas right now, release the goddamn hostages, accept peace, make a peace agreement, put on paper, put your money where your mouth is, and offer a solution. Don't just keep demonizing Israel and not offering a way to solve the goddamn problem.
You think Ben's going to ever address the fact that there were family members of the hostages that stormed the Israeli parliament meeting demanding that the Israeli government do more? Maybe have a negotiation, a truce, that the Israeli government won't do? Just throwing it out there, Benji.
Because that goes on forever.
So two things about that, Ben. Number one, mission accomplished. Hamas, do a ceasefire, never attack Israel, recognize their right to exist, release the hostages. Obviously. And by the way, here, hold on. I'll make it even more concrete. Hamas, stop being goddamn idiots. You're destroying the Palestinian cause as well.
Yes, they're going to listen to you, Cenk. Well done.
As being immoral. We could kill those innocent Israeli civilians. Now 10 times as many Palestinians have been killed. Are you happy? Was that mission accomplished? It is profoundly stupid, and it's easy.
Let's go ahead and just shows that TYT really isn't paying attention, especially to the New York Times when the article came out saying that the Israeli government was given a heads up a year in advance, and the fact that there's also, again, security footage that's missing, and also for the fact, one more time, the fact that, there was kind of like a stand-down order happening. Tall walls, barbed wire fences, watchtowers, surveillance cameras. Now, I get it. Sometimes when you're in a fight, you don't see that haymaker coming, Sometimes you don't see things coming, that uppercut or anything like that. But how did you not see this happening? Think about it. No one wants to talk about it. And also, what's happening to those hostages? Where are they at now? I think a lot of people want to know.
For Hamas leaders to do that, as they sit comfortably in Qatar, and they condemn their own civilians to death. Ben, being against a terrorist is obvious. Obvious. Okay.
Do you bloody well condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Channeling my inner Piers Morgan here. Do you bloody well condemn Hamas?
Okay,
but having a plan to defeat them is much harder.
But Ben, you have to stop imprisoning them. Look, Ben, if people come over, let's say they take, name any place. They take New Jersey, they take Texas, and they say, okay, now you're in an open air prison and none of you have any goddamn rights. And we get to put our boot on your neck. And now you are servants. You're subhuman. Now you sit there, Texas, and take it. And if any of you ever fight back, you're all goddamn terrorists in Texas. What do you think Texas would do? Texas would blow up, those Texas citizens would blow up every goddamn occupier, and you know it.
Nope.
And I don't want to really sit through much more of this because it's raising up my blood pressure, because you got people talking on both sides of their mouth, obviously not paying attention. I would recommend to TYT to maybe pay attention to people like Max Blumenthal and the crew of the Gray Zone, Aaron Mate, Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore, Do Dissidents, Hard Lens Media, RBN. Why would listen to Misty? Let's listen to people who have actually been doing a lot of good coverage and talking about what's happening there. That was just an old classic Cenk back and forth yelling match. I do worry that one day Cenk's gonna go so rage-filled crazy that his head will pop. I don't know. Maybe someday, just not today. But overall, the crisis in Gaza is getting out of control. People are dying. There's talk about, oh, let's build a resort island. Oh, hey, what, 25,000 plus dead people now? Number still keeps rising up. War won't end till 2025. And hey, you got also the virtual signaling of, oh yeah, don't compare this genocide to other genocides. Or don't compare previous genocides to this genocide. What? Exactly. So what can we take away from that T by T debate? Oh, really nothing. It's just more of just good popcorn eating television, that kind of stuff. You know, we get to watch it, but we learn nothing from it. We really want to make an impact. We got to start really holding our whole system accountable. We got to start looking at who is allowing this to happen. And our politicians are, because they're bought by lobby groups like AIPAC to be quiet. Why I think nothing's changed. Why? And of course, you have politicians like Bernie Sanders do like resolutions that go nowhere. It's not going to go anywhere because the Senate's not going to do a thing. The House of Representatives won't do a thing, and the president won't do a thing. What we're witnessing here in real time is the people saying stop, but our leaders saying we can't hear you. One day, this silence will cost us. And we could yell back and forth, but all I know is this war has led the foundations to the next war.